Tell us a little bit about yourself and your business.
Awesome. Well, I am Alison Young, and I am the founder and owner of Alison Young Spiritual Coaching and Development. And we essentially, I help people move to the next mature stage of their spirituality. So oftentimes, for a variety of reasons, that's difficult to get an organized religion. And so I work with all sorts of people from all sorts of walks of life.
Amazing. And what inspired you to start your business?
Well, I'm an ordained elder in the United Methodist Church, and so I've served in the church for a while, and I care about that a lot. And again, for a variety of reasons, the church sometimes, just because they're trying to keep an institution going and an organization going, it's hard to focus on, the individual's spiritual development. And then I worked in the nonprofit sector for about a decade, and just finally got to the spot where I realized I am equipped to go out and open my own practice and do this on my own. And so it's been about maybe 18 months we're into this. So
Yeah.
it's been great.
And I know you're doing amazing. It's like, it's really taken off in the past 18 months, or at least from my.
It's really taken off in the last 4 weeks.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay.
No, I mean, it's been great. It's good.
Yeah.
But it took probably that first year to feel. It's been in the last 2 months that it's felt like, okay, this is sustainable. So
yeah, which I think is a struggle, which all business owners, especially starting something new, is. It's the meme about it, like the up and down hills. It's like, oh my God, this is going amazing. Oh, what in the world is happening?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, okay. So how does social media fit into your overall business strategy?
That's kind of a complex, it's a complex, winding question that you ask. So I do see clients one-on-one, and that is one like pillar of my business. And it became really clear to me that I didn't want to be limited by just the number of slots on my calendar when I could see people, hours. And so I wanted a product, I wanted an offering that that could scale better than just my time. And so anyhow, in the process of building that out, one of my mentors who helped me with that really pushed social media as a way of advertising and getting the word out and building brand awareness and building a community who might eventually want to be a part of that. As in life, businesses, well, and that offering is great, and I still should be doing more in social media to continue to raise awareness about that offering. But as things happen, I had this other great opportunity that I couldn't have even imagined come my way, and so now that client is taking more time, and so we've backed off a little bit on the social media just because of the time it takes to. It wasn't really an intentional thing. It's just when you don't have the urgency as much, and other things are wanting deliverables from you. Yeah, so that's where I am at this second. But hopefully by the time this airs, we will have a robust social media presence again.
Well, but I want to point out, so you've used it before to help, with brand awareness and to drive conversions for this new product or service that you're offering. But you still are on social media. I still see your posts. So you're maybe not posting as often as you used to, but you do still have, I see you're celebrating like holidays, and you do have the inspirational quotes sometimes. So it does seem like you still have a presence. You're just probably not doing it as consistently as you were before. Is that correct? Or is that just my view as an outsider?
Yeah, no, yeah, we've gone through a couple different phases. So we were doing it like I writing it, then that was too much. So, just full disclosure. So then my husband he was trying to help a little bit. And so that might've been a second, like the idea was still to be as intentional, consistent. But then once I had that, and I would say the last maybe 3 weeks, we probably just haven't even posted at all.
Okay. Well, 3 weeks is like I could be thinking of a post I saw 3 months ago. My timeline is so off.
Okay. Well, yeah, no, 3 months ago we were great, and I hope that a month from now we'll be great again.
Okay, awesome. I mean, my whole business is social media. I love it. I'm actually really good at it. And if you look at the Be Connected social media account from probably 3 months ago, it was not great. I think we
Mhm.
went like 2 months without a single post, or maybe it was like a meme,
Uh-huh.
because
But that's
again,
also the beautiful thing about social media, at least from my perspective, is like you're curating this library that 5 years from now somebody can come back to, or even if you haven't posted in 3 months, it they can see what you posted from the last year. So it's kind of this living, breathing um, archive or library.
it is. I mean, that's how I use it as my personal. I post things on my personal page that I'm like, I want to see this memory pop up a year ago, like a year from now,
Mm,
10 years from now. And so that's why, I mean, that's how I use it as that. But for so yeah, I if you go back, you can actually see how my business has evolved, because the different strategies that we've tried. And I actually don't delete the old stuff because I want people to
hmm
see like the main theme that I've seen with everyone that I've interviewed so far, when I've asked
hmm
struggles, it's like, just get started. You just have to do it. You just have to
Yeah.
post the thing, and it might suck, but like, what was it? Grace says this to her yoga teacher trainings. You have to suck before you shine. Like you're basically gonna like post some stuff that isn't great, but you get
Well,
better.
and how do you determine? I mean, that's the other thing is I got in my mind from someone else I worked with, like the vanity metrics of likes and shares and engagements don't always indicate one's success as a business. So I think, I mean, and I know you as being running a social media company, not to say that you can't use those as metrics, but I think from our side of things, like just continuing to keep the conversation going, you never know what, who's in the background, who's not engaging at all, but then who wants to actually be a client. You never know. So yeah, don't overthink it, I would say.
Yeah, that's way easier to say than do, but yes, yes, don't overthink it. Um, but so what I had someone else brought up metrics, and I actually did a post on this on LinkedIn, is that social media metrics don't matter. And I mean, they do sometimes, yes. And it really depends on what are your goals. I've had clients that were like, we want to reach 6,000 followers at the end of the year. And so
Mm-hmm.
we created, like, they just had that number that they wanted to meet. And so we created content and strategy that was around getting people to follow their account. But then I had another client that was like, I don't care. I just want it to be this archive of like when people search us on
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, they can see all of our services and then pictures from our team of what we've done. So
Mm-hmm.
each client is so different, and it's really important to find out what matters to them. And so
Mm-hmm.
like what you're saying, like this is basically an archive of all that you do, and maybe someone's seeing it and not liking or not engaging, but they're watching, and they
Mm-hmm.
know you're there, and when they need you, they know who to reach out to. So I love
Mm-hmm.
it. It is brand awareness. And
So I would say too, maybe it depends upon, like, yes, it is the business's goals, but it might also be impacted by the business's um like essence. So for example, there are many people who might be interested in my services but would not want to comment or whatever, or draw attention to the
uh,
fact that they were engaging, because then all of their other friends would see, and maybe they're not to a spot where they're willing to come out that that this is something they're struggling with, so
yeah.
that may be part of it too. I don't know.
I wonder if there's a way that you can provide. Do you provide something like that? Like here's my email address, or I understand if you're seeing my stuff, you're not interacting. I mean, that even might be a great way of getting email subscribers, of being like,
Mm-hmm.
you might be seeing my stuff and not wanting to interact with it, but the algorithm is going to make it drop in your feed if you don't interact. If you my newsletter, you'll
Oh, that's true.
all like a fun little way, but a way of just, reaching people where they want to be reached.
Mm-hmm.
So you stay at top of mind. But um, so bringing up that what you post about can be a sensitive topic for some people, depending on
Mm-hmm.
their upbringing or where they're at or who their social circles are. Have you received any sort of negative feedback, whether it be through like a DM or a comment on the page about what you're doing?
No, not about what I'm doing. They're
or posting or anything? Yeah.
right. No, 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 right. I think, there's always the follower or two who whose spiritual gift is engaging in discussion and perhaps borderline debate about one's perspectives. But I don't interpret that at all as being negative. I think people who don't care probably just don't care, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, so if someone's debating, maybe you post something and someone's debating, well, this is how I feel about that. How do you handle, maybe if the conversation isn't going, you can start, like we were talking about earlier, one of my interviews started social media and went way off left field. How do you
Yeah.
respond to someone in that? A lot of people and some of my clients or some business owners don't know how to handle comments and
Mhm.
that are public. And so they're like, do I delete them? Do I hide them? Do I respond? So how would you respond to
Mhm.
someone who's maybe debating or taking the conversation differently than what you had originally expected a post to go?
Yeah. I mean, I can say how I would do it. I think it depends a lot on the brand's values as well. I mean, like, what are you trying to cultivate? Are you trying to cultivate a space where all are welcome? Okay, well, then that influences how you would handle that, both in response to the person who is voicing their opinion, but also to keep the space safe for others who might not agree or feel, you know, bullied by that person. So I always engage. I mean, I always thank them for their comment. Um, Often I might, if I'm feeling really brave, seek to understand better, so I might ask a clarifying question because sometimes disagreement is really just two different perspectives on the same term or something like that. So, like try to understand, is there even really? And, then eventually you can just end it by like, you don't say agree to disagree. That's it. But, just very graciously, like, thank you. That's great. I know I hear where you are, and I see many clients who are here, and there's space for all of us. So,
Yeah, I really like that. That's actually usually what I recommend to people is like respond in a way. It shows your character as well. I think
mhm,
followers do read the comments and they definitely read how you respond. And so
mhm,
a lot of people want to just hide and delete. But if you're able to respond to these comments in a way that also shows just the type of person you are, your values, or bringing it back to your ultimate goal, right? Like the goal.
yeah,
I think that when it comes to social media, you said earlier, like if it falls in line with your values, when it comes to social media, you should know as a company or a person what your values are,
mhm,
what your goals are. And then every post, every comment, every response should be in line with that. So if you keep
right,
in mind, yeah, it makes it a little bit easier to answer those questions of what do I post about? How do I respond?
right.
How.
Yeah, or like imagine if all your people were in a boardroom with you or on a retreat with you and that person comments up. How would you handle it then in real life? Handle it the same on social media. It's not that different. Although I do delete like trolls, fake people,
Yeah.
all that. I just delete because I feel like it clutters the space.
Yeah. No, I do. The follow me at blah, blah, blah with a bunch
Yeah.
of asterisks and
Or like, hey, I'm really interested. And I'm like, no, you're not. You
not.
don't even know. I don't
Yeah.
know who you are. You're not real.
Yeah. I get a lot on one of my accounts. People will comment on other people's comments and like, you're so beautiful. Like I went and
Yes.
I'm like, there is literally Facebook dating. Like just go there. Don't have to do it on my client's feed. So
Mm-hmm.
um so when you were using social media like pretty consistently to drive
Mm-hmm.
awareness and conversions, did you find it successful in building a community of people getting subscribers or did you actually receive any leads from social media? How did you see it as a tool in your marketing strategy at that time?
Yeah. I think initially, before I was even necessary, or yeah, initially it really helped build my individual client base. In fact, I mean, like I know several people who are like, I saw you on social, da, da. And a lot of those people would either be people who maybe have known me before, but then social media was a way to get the word out or to remind them that, hey, like I'm really for real, I'm doing this. But also, you know, just because of the way the algorithm works, there were friends of friends who have become clients. And so, yes, I'd say that was definitely a benefit, but it comes in spurts. Like, I'm not sure that I could use that as it's one of those things you can't control, right? Like, so you sow the seeds, and yes, occasionally you start to see this fruit, and that's great. But then if you say, well, last month I got 2 new clients, why don't I this month?
Yeah.
Well, like, that's just a mind game. That's not helpful, right? I try to view it as like, sow the seed, and sow enough that eventually, which is fortunately where I am at this stage, the harvest is bountiful enough,
Yeah.
even if one particular crop isn't blooming right now. So
Love the analogy.
thank
He
you.
went full. But no, I don't think anyone should focus all their efforts on just social media. It's literally an aspect of your entire
Right.
strategy. And the truth is, for most of our clients, I suggest getting as many newsletter email subscribers as possible, because you don't own your Facebook
Right.
page, your Instagram
That's
page,
true.
but you own your email list. And so the changes are always going to happen. I've had friends come to me, and they'll message me that I lost my Facebook account, I can't get back in, and they end up losing their business account associated with it. And that's something that I tell people, you should always have at least 2 business managers. So I'm assuming you have you and your husband, because he was
You told me to do that. Yeah.
managing. Oh, I did tell you to do that? Oh, okay. You have a good friend.
I do. That was at the beginning though, but truthfully, since he's helping me, I think he just uses my login for the stuff he's doing now. But I do still think he should just be the other person.
No,
We'll
he can
talk
do
about
it
that
as
later.
no. He can still use your login. It's just as long as you have 2 people that have personal Facebook accounts associated
Yes.
with your business. Because let's say, Meta decides that Allison's not a real person and deactivate the account, you'll lose your
Oh,
entire business page. Yeah.
yeah.
But because
Yeah.
Rusty is still, Meta thinks Rusty's a person, he'll still have access to it. So you could create a whole new personal account, add you back,
Yeah.
don't lose your business page. So
Okay.
yeah, this is going on a different, but it is smart to, one, always have at least 2 admins on your Facebook page. And if you're giving access to an agency, you can do it through Facebook Business Manager. So you're not ever actually transferring ownership. Because I've also had someone come to me where an ex-employee held their account hostage and wouldn't give it to them. Yeah.
Oh
So
my goodness.
I know that's a whole new, I should do a talk on that. So,
And one thing I would say about this, like, being one piece, or the social media being one piece of a marketing plan or a business plan. Yeah. So I take some time initially to get a presence, but then I really do think there comes a time where your hour is way better spent in your community, in your networks, giving lunch and learns, whatever, because that is, I think, is going to convert people way more quickly. And it's beneficial then when they can, like, look you up and say, oh, she really does have a Facebook presence, or, a social media presence.
right.
But I don't count on that. So it's one of these, like, necessary but not sufficient things in my mind.
Yeah. Well, also in
Social
your
media, necessary but not sufficient.
yeah, in your business, it makes sense. For the natural wine shop for Imperial, they actually it's important for them to post their events on Facebook, and they drive a lot of people that way. But for you and for the ABA therapy client we have, like, it's just important for them to have this, you know, archive of resources and material, and you have live videos. Like, people can actually come to your Facebook page and see who you are before even meeting you. So that's great that you have all that content there. So now if you post once a week, that just to show that I would recommend posting, once a week, once a month, something, just so that people do see you're still active. There are times people will come to a Facebook page that, oh, they haven't posted in 5 years. Are they even still open?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you don't want to wait that long, but that's how social media is serving a purpose for you, and
Yeah.
everyone is different. And if you don't have that understanding or strategy before you get started, then yeah, you are just wasting your time. So,
Mm-hmm.
so it's, yeah, there's
That's
a
why
lot.
you should hire or have a consultation with a social media manager.
Yeah, I know someone.
I do.
So I just wanted to ask one more question. What
Mhm.
advice would you give to anyone just starting out with their business? They want to do social media. Is there anything you would have done differently?
Maybe not what I would have done differently, but what I just see in hindsight. So for me, it goes back to that integrity of like, who are you? Who is your business? And especially if, I mean, so if the business is just starting out and maybe you don't have a clear idea about what is your voice in the world, how are you going to show up? What are your values? Get clear on those. Like even in a right, I mean, don't do anything and don't do anything until you kind of know this is who I am. And then unabashedly and consistently show up that way. And don't worry about if it looks like your neighbor or if it doesn't, or if it like just be you. I think I was reading this quote by Seth Godin yesterday, I think, who was talking about like back when freelancers really started to be a thing and having their web pages, it was like the answer to what do you do was, well, what do you need? And and he's like, act like, don't be ashamed of being who you really are and doing what you do well, and leave the other people's work to other people. Like it's not all ours to do. So I would just say, to sum up that very long answer, figure out who you are and be that.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. This was
You're
like,
so welcome.
it seriously was I mean, was a great talk. And I think that you provide a lot of insight and resources for people, and a different perspective than some of the other people that I've talked to. It's just a
Okay.
different industry. So it's really
Yeah.
nice. I appreciate you.
Awesome. Always happy to work with you.